Okay, today is Saturday, the 28th of June 2025. And for the first time, we are going live on my channels. I will try to do it the other time, but that was last week. It didn't work out for us, a different topic. So today, we are going back to start again with some other topic. And today is going to be about Highlife. But I'll wait a bit because hoping that people will join. At the same time, my guest is already is ready, so before long I'll bring him in so that we'll get kicking. We'll get started. So the topic today is about high life music in Nigeria, where we are in Nigeria concerning high life music, and the comments section is open, so you guys, anybody that joins in can comment, ask question, and see how we can go ahead with it. So at the moment, I'll just call on my guest so that we can get talking. And so my guest is Jason Ebuka, a very good friend of mine, a music head, media entrepreneur, former artist, as he calls himself. I don't know why somebody should say that he's a former artist. Let me get. You need to come on stage. I need to bring you on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know why somebody should say he retired from music, the business part of music, and is keeping the art part of music. So, Mr. Chisholm, because you're welcome.
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
I beg. Yeah, thank you so much. That's your introduction. Get K leg. Oh.
Yeah.
That
So
introduction, get K leg.
you can
No, no,
explain
no,
to
no.
us.
But the truth still, no, the truth be told that at some point in your life, you should know what is working for you at an era.
Okay.
You cannot be an elder and you are dancing a dance that is not beneficial again to you at a point of your life.
Okay.
And this is why I keep telling people always leave the stage when the ovation is loud.
It's loud, yeah.
Do not leave when they're going to beg you, I beg go now, I beg go now. And don't forget that anything you're doing now is an indication of the bigger thing that is coming in your life.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
matter how high you fly on that particular spot of your life now, there is something much higher than where you ought to be. So if you are a creative person and if you are always reinventive, you will know that whatever you're doing now is a template or is a doorpost or signpost to
To the
something
future.
bigger. I retired from music early 2000, having started professional in 1996, even as a teenager performing in clubs, in the church, and the rest. Started as a production late 90s, 1998, 99, early 2000. 2005, I told myself, boy, you have no business in front of the cameras again because I saw a big lacuna. I'm actually in the gospel sector, and I saw there's a big gap in that space that even the gospel musicians in Nigeria, resident in Lagos, are not being well paid. And
Yeah.
that was when the likes of Tony Tetula, Paul Play, Slam, that is from
Yeah.
Oxygen Group,
Oxygen, yeah.
uh,
Tony Tonero.
Tony Tonero,
Tony
San
Tonero.
Sultan,
Mm.
and then Two Face, Plantation Boys just released their album, and most of them are going over to Kenny Music. And you know how Kenny Music was back in the days, it was a powerhouse. Everybody is
Mm.
scouting to go to Kenny Music and Ray Power. And then the likes of the Dr. Don from Rhythm FM. I forgot his name, Diggy Dr. Don. I don't know. I can't know how to pronounce it.
Um,
They were the big guys then.
are you
Well,
talking of JAJ?
JAJ.
You're squeezing. You're struggling.
JAJ, this industry head. In that time,
Mhm.
there were limited resources. I
Yeah.
told myself, Bobo, you need to, and if you don't have somebody sponsoring, you have to go find other things. So I took a break from performing in front of camera and went behind the camera after my music video at that time. And I told myself, I'd rather focus on the business of the music
Music. Yeah.
and leave the act for other
For
people,
others.
so I can make the money. And again, there was an argument you and I had, and you were asking me, can a musician retire from music? I said, no, a musician can retire from the art. They
Maths.
can retire from the business, they cannot retire from the
From
art.
the
I still sing, I still write song, I still produce other program. In fact, everything I'm doing today is founded on the premises of my musical experience.
yeah.
Found organization, gospel organization, move projects, done events in Lagos, outside Lagos, and the rest. Everything is done under the premises of music because I started way back as a little boy, as early age of 7, 6, being a music director, and but story long, my brother, story long.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, me, I can't sing to save my life. No, I can't sing. I just do these things out of passion. And there's a reason. Maybe I'll just mention it, the reason. But I've tried to put out a background since I was young, but I don't have enough time. I wish I had like 28 hours a day to be able to
Mm,
explain to people, because a lot of people that know me from my 9 to 5 background in Nigeria don't
mm,
believe that I'm doing this what I'm doing. And one of the
mm.
reasons I left what I did then is just for me to have a freedom to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, yeah.
But the main reason that I'm like an evangelist of Nigerian music is when I was doing youth service way back 1991 in
Mhm.
Kwara. I came to Lagos to see my sister. Then Blackie has just released his second album. So
Okay,
yes,
okay.
then. So I went to buy Blackie's album. That's Black and Crazy or something like that. I
Yeah,
went to
yeah.
a very popular record store of those days. Any music person in Lagos will know. On Tejo Show.
You mean Teju
Yes,
Osho. Okay,
opposite what is Tejo Show complex now.
I know
Most
the place.
Yes,
I
I
know the
don't want
place.
to mention their
I know
name.
the place.
I went
I know
to
the
ask
place.
for that album. They told me that they don't sell Nigerian music.
Mhm,
So that is
mhm.
when I started. Okay, so I'll rather keep on pushing Nigerian music. Yeah,
Funny
that's just.
enough, all of us that came from that era, from um, mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s to was towards late 90s, only believe in American music. So you will see someone like me who is core R&B, because of the influence I had from LXO
Yeah,
and the Mandator, and now start looking at Michael Jackson and Kelly just to sing like them. But he realized that that was what the media was selling to. That was what the radio station was playing at that time. Our catalog, music catalog and music library in most of those radio stations, NTA and all the FMs, then were only foreign music. You now hear
yeah,
Shalamars, and
yeah.
then
Yeah.
you hear the
At least
Atlantic
Atlantic
Stars. You
Star and the
hear
rest.
you hear the likes of Lon Richel, Barry White, and all of
Yeah.
them. You now start asking yourself, is there more? Is there not? Then you now coming to the 90 era. You now start hearing Tupac and Biggie,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, and then we'll start moving towards Will Smith, then what's the name? Nas and the rest.
And the
We
rest, yeah.
find it difficult to even have the Nigerian arts. Nobody, most of people do not even know the next Mandator living are disclosed, the next great, even Majid Fashed, even LXO, all of them, nobody knew them. Onyeko Wenu
Yeah.
and the rest. You realize that yourself that what media was pushing for us then was foreign culture. You go
Yeah.
to clubs, you go to events, you will not be hearing Nigeria, you'll be hearing American May Happy Birthday by Steve Wonder and the rest. Edna, nobody was playing Edna's song and all that.
Yeah.
But it was mixed up. But that was the era. Who give it to them? that was the era that formed what we're doing right
Yeah.
now. I remember as a little boy, Fela music, for example, Fela music was prohibited in my family. In fact, Oliver the Cole, or Sadebe, they brandish it as an evil music. You know, where
Wow.
I'm coming from the east
Wow.
side of the country. You know, if it's not Pati Obasi, if it's not Felix Ndukwe, if it's not Obigwe and the rest, it's not good music. And that was the impact of culture, tradition, and religion. But again, do you blame them? You don't blame them because
Yeah.
that was what media was feeding them. You go to church, they told you that if there's a music that did not call God, it's the devil's music. You see, those are the complexity that surrounded, and to cap it all, a young man like me that came out and say he has a music talent, you know, he wants to pursue music. They say you are lazy, if he's not doctor, if he's not engineer, if
Engineer.
he's not, you are wasting your time. I remember being pushed out and blacklisted in the church, my local church. My local pastor told me that if you are not, if not because of your parents, I would have given you back seat. You know, those are the things. And moreover, I was the first guy as a young man that had the first youth choir. Then don't forget that period, I was also singing in the club, performing in the club. What was I performing in the club? If I go to club because of what is happening in the club, I'll be singing Kelly. I believe I can fly. I believe I, all those kind of songs. You will not hear me sing, do we need to name of love? Like
So,
LXO
I
song.
like Alex. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
but don't forget again, let me take it a little bit. Don't forget again that Chris Okotie generation down to LXO generation were also imitating the West. In
Yes.
fact, it took me many years to realize that LXO himself was even a
In
Nigerian until he
Nigeria.
did a song. He did a song
Madam.
early 90s. I think that the last song he did. I want to when Kamado you know, that was a song that was around 95 that I realized, LXO, na Nigeria guy now.
Oh,
So it's
awesome.
a whole generational thing. But again, it's getting better now because now people can boldly accept us anywhere in the world.
Yeah. That's
Go to the
important.
US, go to the US in the airport, in the club, they're playing the bands, they're playing Don Jazzy, they're playing Davido. Go to the Brazilian, they're playing Sawario or Osto Sadebe. You
Yeah.
know, it's accepted now.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you, Rich P. Rich P has joined, and again, let's see. We are just bidding time to see who and who will join. But
Yeah,
Rich
let's keep
P,
talking. People will join. Just
yeah.
let's keep talking. People
So
will join.
let's get back to the topic. High life music. We're trying to look at the future where we are with high life music. So I'll just do a kind of run through. Before we came on, we were discussing high life music. High life music has actually been with us since post independence, and it
Yeah,
came from
and after
Ghana.
the war.
Ghana had the upper hand in high life music, and it came through from Ghana, Cameroon down to Nigeria. So,
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
we always have, when we are doing one thing, Ghana high life, Nigeria high life. So in Nigeria, we had the names, and Nigeria again was kind of divided into two: the West and the East.
Mm-hmm.
We had
Mm-hmm.
the Osita Osadebe, Cardinal
Nico
Rex,
Baraka,
Nico Baka, Cardinal Rex, Jim Lawson,
Jim Lawson,
Celeste
yeah.
Nuko, was he high life?
Celeste Ogu, yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
high life. In the West, we still had the Zilonia, Bobby Benson, playing
Bobby
high life
Benson,
music.
yeah.
That's the Southwest now.
Dairo,
So, yeah,
Dairo,
Bobby Benson,
Ike Dairo.
Ike Dairo playing high life music. Then after, in the 70s, I think they came up with an opposition. Let me use the word opposition now, a competition in terms of those bands, those Afro funk bands. You're talking of the Funkies, those kind of bands, Ofege, which were quite
Yeah,
popular, especially with the younger generation. So those bands came
yeah,
in the um, and sort of push high life a little bit backwards. Of course, Fela now came with his own Afrobeat, and became
You
very
know, Fela
popular.
started as a Highlife guy
High life,
first. You
yeah,
know, I think Fela
yes.
started with
Fela started
Highlife.
as high life musician, but later changed to Afrobeats and gained a lot of influence and prominence
because
around the
because
world.
because he saw the gap. He saw the
Yes.
gap. Somebody advised him. Somebody advised him.
So that is it. So High Life kind of got pushed back with those bands, the Sonny Okosun, Ofege, Funkies,
Onyeko
Apostles.
Wenen.
I'm even talking of 70s, the Apostles, the Dose. So all those kind of
Victor
bands.
Uwaifo.
Yeah,
Victor Uwaifo.
Victor Uwaifo is High Life, as far as I'm
Yes,
concerned.
yes, yes,
It's High Life.
yes, 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 yes.
So
I've forgotten his name. This Yoruba man. There are a lot of them. A
a
lot
lot
of
of
them.
them.
A lot of them.
So when we now got to the 80s, that's when Chris Okotie came up, G.O.B., DZK. These guys became so popular amongst Nigeria, even though they were still facing stiff competition from the foreign countries.
Talking about Chris Okotie. Chris Okotie was struggling between
Yeah.
pop and a bit of high life, but he
A
has
bit
a
of high
background
life,
of high
yes.
life.
Yeah. And then GW, DZK, and the rest came up. A lot of them, Felix Liberty, came up and dominated the scene. Mid 80s,
Michael Cree, mid
Michael
80s,
Creek,
late 80s to early 90s, it become reggae movement.
reggae, yes, that's what I was
Mandetta,
coming to.
Mandetta, and the rest.
Reggae now came in mid 80s or late 80s into early 90s with Mandatos, Majek Fashek,
Raskimeno, Majek
Askimono.
Pashek,
All those people played reggae and it dominated. There's a reason for
Orisunikis,
there's a
Orisunikis.
there's a reason why reggae dominated, and there's a reason why it faded out too. Because at the point,
Okay.
yes, there's a reason. I have a video on that too. So after that,
Is it not because
Nigeria,
of activism? Is it not because of activism?
for me, reggae music, there's no spiritual basis for reggae music in Nigeria. Let me just put it that way. And it went after they have done their job, fighting apartheid and all that, fighting military regime and
Yeah,
all that. So
yeah,
their job was
activism,
gone,
activism,
and
activism.
they now left here. So and High Life has been suffering all that while. Then the early 90s is the period that, for me, Nigeria was music was on a decline. Early 90s, 92, 93, because record companies left. The Sony Music,
Exactly what I
Polygram,
wanted to say.
those guys left.
Afrodeck,
Aphrodisia, they left.
Aphrodisia, yeah. Premier
Polygram left.
Music,
They left. The indigenous companies like Phonodisc,
Ivory Music, Ivory Music, Ivory
Ivory
Music.
was EMI. EMI left. Then Ivory took over as a local company.
Yeah, yeah.
So the multinationals left, creating a gap. And then these guys used to sign high life musicians. When they left, most Nigerian musicians also left the country then for
Don't
greener
forget,
pastures.
don't forget again. On the east side, we have Abanse Record, Rogers All Stars. Or
So
on the east
those
side.
labels like Rogers also you mentioned actually promoted high life music seriously,
Sure.
because someone like Bright Chimezie, Prince
Bright
Nickelback,
Chimezie, yes.
the sweet mother we are
Even
hearing,
Morocco,
yes,
even Morocco.
they are all from Rogers All Star. So
Sure.
then, but as the music was coming back again in the middle 80s, where you start having the Ajegunle boys doing their thing, high life
That's
started
that
again.
that's
Daddy Shoki,
mid 90s, not 80s.
mid
90s,
90s,
90s.
yeah. The Daddy Shoki era, Pretty Busy Boys. That time to reggae has gone. So, and the industry evolved on its own without any major record label. That's when marketers came in to the system. So up to this moment that there's been a revival of the music industry to the point we are having Nigerian artists filling stadium, packing awards, having a category for Grammy. High life music for me is missing in action largely. So that is why we are here today to discuss where we are with high life music. Jason.
Okay, so I really think that it is always like you said, it has a way of reinventing itself. If you look back to, let me take it from mid-90s, because that is when this generation started from. The generation of Daddy Shoki, Dr. Fresh, Righteous Man, and the rest. If you realize that the sound that they were walking around with was reggae and high life.
Yeah.
They were coming with the mixture of two, reggae and high life. And that was why when Paul Play finally released his first album with Kenny Music, not with Oxygen, but when he went solo,
Solo, yes.
that album have a mixture of hip hop and also high life.
Yeah.
Now, you will also understand that when it comes to um, progression of industry, you may not define where the direction is, but you can always watch and see the trend and patterns. All right. And the high life music today that you're saying is on decline. I will tell you, high life music is actually has been on the basis for long. Now, why do I say so? Now, we may not be able to say that we have a high life music category on Grammy, but high life music, if you go down to the East, guys are still doing high life music to the core. But the only thing that we're doing now is because that they are actually redefining it to sound like Afrobeats, using modern instruments, modern progression, modern choruses, upgrading it. For example, look at what Flavour is doing. Look at what Flavour is doing with Highlife. Listen to Flavour's album. You will hear all manner of Highlife. To be honest with you, I follow Flavour like back to back from his first album. I may not say first album, but that first album was not truly Highlife. It was hip hop. You know, when Flavour and then MC Loph, yeah, I think it's MC Loph,
MC Love,
Sunday Owen,
MC Love.
Sunday Owen. Now, you remember 1980, I think 1985, no, is it 1985 or 1995 when that song was released? I watched it on TV. It was big. Or Sunday Owen, there was also Saturday's big, one of the biggest album from Kedu America. I think that was the album, Kedu America. If I'm correct, please. If I'm correct, please. If you're not, please help me write it down. You know, when they did that remix using modern music pattern, I'll tell you because why I say that is that when I released my first album, 1999, 2000, that was exactly what I did. That was what I did. I mean, I was coming from the background of high life, which was called in the church, because I'm coming from the church sector. It's called Ariaria. Ariaria is a big market in Aba. So high life music was one of the major music that was, even today, Aba is big on Ariaria, which is high life.
Yeah.
But when I did my first album, 1998, 1999, the album that never got released because marketers rejected it then, because I was trying to redefine Ariaria, singing like Oyibo. So I was singing Igbo songs, sounding like Oyibo with good music. And that is exactly what Flavour is doing today. But the only difference between myself and Flavour was infusing Igbo in its own. So is Highlife dead? No. Highlife is reinventing himself. Because before we came to the era that people now start arguing what is Afrobeat, that it is Afrobeats or Afrobeats. You know, he came from Fela, at a point he nosedived and then came up again. You know, now there's a lot of the argument that is Afrobeats. Imagine Akon coming to tell us that he was the part of the people that invented Afrobeats. You understand? So the point exactly is that High Life is not talking about. The only thing that you can tell me now is that High Life is reinventing itself. The sound is no longer the same. The approach to it is no longer the same. And this is why I love what Flavour is doing. I love what Phyno is also doing. If you listen to Phyno's work, you will see he has a lot of high life elements on it. It has a lot of high life elements on it. So And if you ask them, they'll tell you that hip life. It was even from
Ghana.
uh, not even Ghana. It was even okay. Look at somebody like Asweke. Asweke is doing Ijaw music and is battling between high life, hip life, and the rest. You know, it has a lot of things. My point exactly is this: high life is not dead. High life is still there. They are still key players. Can you go to an Edo man touring maybe Ghana, Germany or even the Europe? He's not touring an indigenous Edo musician that is touring North. I'm sorry, Europe. He's not touring with hip hop music. He's touring
No.
with high life music.
Yeah.
The only thing I can tell you is that some of the gatekeepers, I have told you this thing before, some of the gatekeepers are not doing enough. What do I mean? The reason why we are hiring Afrobeat is because media is on the side brandishing it. If some of these our fathers and the children of some of our fathers did what the family of Fela is doing with this kind of music, we will still have the likes of Osita Osadebe, we'll still have the likes of Jim Lawson, Celestine Ogu. But those men died and their children are left that legacy. So you will not see people talking about the legacy of what Celestine Ogu. The only thing that we heard about Celestine Ogu is that probably he died in an accident or blah blah. But that's where the story ended. All the session men, the instrumentalists, all of them that were with him, nobody could give account of how big that guy was when he was still here. Look at Nico Bar, big song. I know Nico when that song, what's his name?
Sweet mother.
Street Mother was
Sweet mother.
written and first sang few houses away from my house in Fege Onitsha. Yes, Plaza Hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
Plaza Hotel in Fege Onitsha is that place just few houses away from my house. I used to see them pass my house, go to play in the club, in the hotels. That was when I was small. So you can see that so many people, and this is why I love what you're doing on your channel, and that's why I call you one of the outstanding Nigerian music librarian. We don't have history. We don't have somebody coming to talk about these things. A lot of people have information, history about this thing, but we don't talk about it, which is why I'm passionate on what you're doing. Talking about Nigerian music. Now, I don't think that somebody has chronically evident put Nigerian music as detailed as you're doing it, calling section, not just the artist itself, calling section men, people that the engineers that were there, that you know who and who is there. My point for this one is that highlight music is not on decline. It's just reinventing itself. It's just reinventing itself. Give it time, it will come up.
Okay. Okay. We
Just
are
like the
giving
same
them.
way, just like the same way, Jay-Z, people like Jay-Z, Beyonce are now sampling Fela's Afrobeats.
Afrobeat.
Why would they sample it? Because somebody is talking about Fela's legacy.
Yeah.
Yes, go to Caribbeans, go to Caribbean to today, go to Brazil to today. They are still playing Dr. Sawario.
Yep. I know
They are
that.
still playing the
I know.
song.
I know
Yeah.
that. Colombia.
So Colombia, yes.
Yeah, Colombia.
Somebody needs to talk about it. Somebody. The problem I have is that the people who are bona fide owners of this legacy are busy fighting themselves with family problems.
Okay,
You
let me
understand?
pick up from that point. Is it compulsory? I know it's good, like what Fela did, what Bob Marley's children and grandchildren have done, concerning the music, the parents, the legacy their parents or their father left behind. Bob Marley, we are talking of the third generation now, but what I'm looking at is it compulsory that it has to be the children of the legends that carry on this work? Are you on? Okay, so let me continue because if we are waiting for the children of the legends to carry on some of the works of their parents. We might wait forever in most instances. For instance, I don't know whether I got what I'm saying. Is it
Yes, yes,
compulsory that is it
I got it.
you got it? Is it compulsory that we must wait for the children of the legends to carry on what their parents did? Granted that okay, Bob Marley's family are into the third. Skip Marley is the third generation, and there's one now he calls himself Soul Rebel Marley. Is Skip Marley's brother. That guy released an album recently, and it is a Amapiano. So my point is it compulsory that it has to be the children of the legends that carry on this work? Because music is open. Other artists should be able to intentionally. What I find missing in Nigerian music and as with many other things in Nigeria, the intention to do things is lacking. Because if you don't plan intentionally, you will not be able to do these things. You may say inspiration, music comes by inspiration, but for God's sake, there are certain times that um, um, when you are empowered, you will be able to do certain things. For instance, if Nigeria should host the Nigeria should have the right to host a World Cup now, and they ask Nigerian musicians, can you bring a team song for the competition? I'm sure that will not be intentional. It will be motivational. You are motivated to do something. You are motivated to go and write a team song for a competition. You didn't wake up one morning and write a team song before the competition came. So certain things have to be done with intention. So is it compulsory that it has to be the children of the legends that remake this music? Because that's not the way it's happening in America, for instance.
Okay, so I will start by saying because our culture is different, our environment is different, we do not trust ourselves. We don't, because we don't have systems here. We need to put all those things in factor. You see, in America or in the West, an organization can pick up a legacy of maybe Michael Jackson with the approval of the family estate. Yeah. And then decide to follow through with his legacy. In fact, they are doing something recently for Whitney Houston in the US. They are playing that, they are doing her songs. They are doing I think they're doing a memorial of her songs. There was a time they did hologram of Tupac Shakur with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Yeah, even though he faced some legal issues, but the bottom line is that there are systems that can hold you accountable to whatever that happens. But here we don't have such systems. And that make it to the onions to fall back to the family, because if I want to come out of passion and love for a high life artist, for example, like Osita Osadebe or Sawario, or even my elder brother LXO, and said, okay, fine, I want to go through his catalog and do something for him. First of all, I'll face backlash. If he has, for example, let's take Osita Osadebe, for example. The children alone may not be in unity. So it's like buying a landed property where the family is having issue. You will settle this one, settle this one, settle this one, settle this one. I have heard stories where, in fact, there's a group I am on Facebook that has to go to Renter Brothers. Every day in that group, they are fighting who is the original renter. This person will say it's like a warrior. This person, all those kind of a thing. If you dabble into such thing where you don't have the full right of those material or that legacy, you have to first of all deal with those kind of issues. And this is why these things are scaring people away, in my own understanding. Why is the family? Is because you cannot tell a play Dairo that he is not a direct benefactor of his father's legacy. He is. So anyhow he wants to do with his father's legacy is left with him. It's easier for him to call people and say, this is my father's catalog that has not been released, or this person. Okay, look at what happened to Ejaya.
Yeah.
Ejaya. When even though it was his prophecy, that thing that happened to him with Brain Jotter was a prophecy he gave 40 years ago in one of his songs. you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened to him. Look at what happened to him. It was when that thing happened that legal issues, we now started getting to know some legal issues battling over the years, that the record label has been paying him 30,000 naira for all his songs. You know, those kind of a thing. Even the fella children we are talking about, it took them after they had internal fights for
Yes.
Yemi to now stand up and do that legacy after they have settled the issue. So instead that it's very easy for the children to do that because it is their legacy. Now, it is when they start it that people like us who are fans and loyalists will now join because there's a spearheader. You understand? So it's easier in this part of the world so that accountability is the problem. So that somebody cannot be suing you to call that you are, for example, look at Dakrin. Like I'm borrowing from Dakrin for the example. Till today, the guy that did documentary of Dakrin is still sorting the issue out. So you see, because we have a system problem in this part of the world, a lot of things cannot work just like the same way it's working in the West. I have always said this. The children of these icons should start these things. For example, I was going through Oliver the Coque song. I play his song always because I love his songs. In my head, I was shaking my head and saying, who is the guy that will take up this legacy? Guess what? All his children, the only legacy they are pursuing is just the name, Deco. Everybody is putting Deco in his name. This one is answering Eugene Deco. This one is answering Stanley Deco. That's all they're doing. But what if all of them come together and even hold memorial lecture on his legacy, the things he stood for, how he did his music. Look at Victor Uwaifo. He had museum in Benin.
Yes.
People go there. Those are legacies. Osita Osadebe, all I know is that I think two of his children, they are playing. One is in the US, they are fighting themselves. You know, all those things. It has to start with the family. And these are the building blocks of why Highlife is still there, and he has to reinvent himself. Like I said, he has to reinvent himself. How will he reinvent himself? Why will he reinvent when you don't have the history? Before we get to the part of Afrobeat, it was because somebody was hammering about fella, talking about fella. People were like, Baba 70. Apart from his activism and the issue he had with government, people were talking about him. So I have always maintained that the family of these guys should start off this thing, and then any other person that will join.
Okay. Rich P, thank you. Rich P tends to agree with you. Said there's been instances where some artists try to recreate something similar to these legends, and they get hit by lawsuits and disapproval from different sides. Wow, it's a pity when we are looking at things and family becomes an issue, because for me this is business. The family is supposed to benefit from the business that comes out, or the earnings or the profit that comes out from people exploiting the work of their legend, their fathers. So if it now becomes an issue of leaving money on the table, that makes me feel sad, really.
You know why it's like that. You know why it's like that. You know why it's like that? Because it's on different layers. On the creative level, maybe the children have not thought about it. Their creative capacity has not carried it. Because it takes creativity to make something out of thin air.
Yeah.
It takes creativity to think out an idea and make it to be physical. Maybe the children have not thought about it, or maybe they've thought about it at that creative level. They've not also seen the business side to it, because information, for example, look at what I was shouting. I was shouting about Mike Ejaya. I was saying, if the children actually know this is the time they can get all they will get from this man with this viral video of Gogobongo. I was shouting it, that if the children actually know, they would have cashed out from this. They would have even started hosting yearly concert alone.
Concert, yeah.
Taking all his songs and remaking them. Thank God that what I said about Bright Chimezie happened now. Yeah. When the video happened, I said, this guy is up to something. He's not too far. Bright Chimezie is back to the studio now, remaking some of those songs. He did a live yesterday. with
Yeah.
that song because of English. Just because
Yes.
a Davido mentioned that he was just an inspiration to a song. It's not even that he sampled his tone, it's just a line because of English. You can
Yeah.
see now, his children now are packaging him. Guess what? I think last year he was a concert in the US, Bright Chimezie with I think appearance or concert in London with Flavour.
Flavor, yes. With flavor.
You understand? So you see that it has to do with capacity of thinking. The children, the problem I have is this, and I'm saying it pump and play. I keep saying it that one of two things that my Igbo brothers have not understood is one, they've not understand politics, and they've not understand entertainment industry. Because,
Mm.
for example, you cannot have the kind of catalog Dr. Sawario, for example, had when he was alive, and the children are not doing something with it. And you're telling me that we are struggling, we are doing no. You should be able to go back to your father's legacy and make something out of it. Some of us, our parents did not have legacy, are even doing something for ourselves
So,
just
yeah.
because of our children. So it has to come with the family first, because so that that part of legal issue, ownership and the other part will be
To be
at
taken care
least
of.
40% cut off. Because if you want to put your hand now as a loyalist, as a fan, or whatever, you have to deal with those issues, those background issues. Maybe the first son is saying that he's the
Mm.
head of the family, he doesn't like, or the last side is, all of that and more.
Wow, he's serious. But meanwhile, Bob Marley's estate is making more money than he made during his
Do you
lifetime.
know the fight they had? Do you know the fight they had at back end before they? Rita Marley, will he tell you what she fought before she get to that point?
Wow.
It
But at
was
least
an
they are trying.
it's an
Even
internal. Okay, we're not talking about Bob Marley. Look at, for example, Fela. Before Fela children could even come publicly to perform, it took Shehu many years for him and Femi to even play on the same stage.
same stage. It's true.
He
It's
had
true.
to take Yeni to do the work. This collaboration we are seeing now is an initiative from the
Yeah.
Yeni.
Mm.
And then it brought all of them together. Now, Fela is a movement. And there is
Yeah.
no how. See, this 19, there's no way till that kingdom come that Fela celebration will not host every year.
You're
Can we
right.
have can we have Celestine Ugu's memorial lecture? Can we have Nico Mbaka
Mm.
memorial lecture? Let's even understand how his mind worked. Let's even understand how his mind worked. Who are the people that played music with him? Who was the people that he talked to? Who was the girlfriend? Who was the wife? Who were the children? Let's talk to them. Even Osita Osadebe, Dr. Sawario, even Morocco Madoka, Prince Morocco Madoka, all of them, even what's the name? Muda Ibe from Oba. Let's hear them. Somebody should have, the children should come out and have a memorial event. Even if it's 1 year, one 30 minutes conference, let's talk about them. Those are part of, in fact, for us to get Highlife back to the frontiers, these are the building blocks that needs to
Yeah.
be done.
Mm. Okay, now Afrobeats has taken over. What I would like to ask is because Afrobeat seems to have combined everything: juju, Fiji,
Yeah.
hip hop, everything together. But the high life component seems not to have been so much in that mix. Instead, they now went to South Africa, brought a piano, went and sadly, 2021, I was in Ghana, and I noticed that the Ghanaians are living hip life into what Nigerians were doing, moving from hip life into Afrobeats, and that is just the way it is.
Mhm.
Equally killing that genre because we could still have been able to look up to Ghana that okay, this thing is still going on. What level of high life have you been able to build into the Afrobeat? The reason I'm asking this question is this: the foreign elements, the Americans, have sort of grabbed Afrobeats in a way. They understand Afrobeat. That is the reason a Chris Brown plays Afrobeat, Skip Marley plays Afrobeat, Chris Brown won award, Afrobeats award at the American Music Awards. So they understand Afrobeat. For us to keep abreast or keep ahead, I think we need to go back and reinvent Highlife, Fuji, Juju, so that we can stay ahead of them in that game because they are really, really buying into it. So how much can we do with Highlife now to be able to move ahead of the Western world that are catching into Afrobeats now?
You see, when it comes to creativity, you be very careful not to lose your relevance. In as much as civilization, innovation, and then progression is expedient, when it has to do with creativity, you do not lose your relevance. The truth of the matter is that the cause of Afrobeat is Calypso. The core of Highlife is Calypso. And if you watch, the sound has emerged over the years. It wasn't the Highlife Osita Osadebe played. It was the Highlife. Nico played, or Lawson, or Celestine Ogu. Are you getting me? Mm-hmm. Even Bright Chimezie's more recent move is not the kind of song he did. For example, Because of English I listened yesterday in his live stream is not the same sound he played with Roger Soulstar. You need to understand time and season and era. All right. I give you an example, a classic example of Osundi Owendi, Flavour and MC Love. You know, if you listen to, there are two different things. You know, you should also understand that eras and generation differs. People can interpret sounds the way they want to, but the core should not be lived. It should not be lost. For example, should not be lost. Highlife itself can be imported and exported. Look at what Flavour is doing. Look at what Flavour is doing. You know, a Caribbean can listen to Flavour and get excited about what is doing. But Flavour's type genre of music is Highlife. Yeah. For example, if you listen to, I think it's Thankful album, the one that has Wanyim Bise and Keleya. Look at the sound. Flavour I can give it to Flavour more than anybody. Again, KC of 5-star record. Look at what he's doing. Look at the new song he did with Cubana Chief Priest. Government. That is pure Highlife. Again, while you are doing that, the element of Afrobeat is there. Look at the kind of videos they are doing. Yeah. Let me take you a little bit deeper. Madam Teresa, Onoha. The new song they did, him and Madam Teresa, Flavour, Phyno, and Larry Gaga. That song they did was first released in the 90s. Egedege music. See what they did with the song. In fact, this new generation now got to know about Madam Teresa. Unlike some of us that knew her way back in time, that start going back to look at her previous catalog. Those songs she did those years were nonsense. The videos were nonsense. So how do you do that? By the time you put in new mind, good producers like Mastercraft and the rest, even Flavour himself is a good producer that focuses on Highlife. Now, when you finish that, like I said, the difference between Highlife of today and Afrobeats of today is because of media. These guys spend so much money to do video. They invest so much money to do their video. The videos are top notch.
Yes.
But no matter the brand, the genre of music you're doing, if you give it good video and give it good promotion, it will fly. When the band and then Don Jazzy came that year with the call.
You're freezing a bit.
Nobody was listening to them. Nobody was listening to them. But the quality of the promotion and the kind of video they gave was mind-blowing. What am I saying? If you want to do Highlife today, don't just do it like the same way our fathers did it, or our uncles did it. Do it, get a good producer, give it a good video. Look at what Flavour is doing. Look at what Casey Limpopo, after working with his friend in that group.
Fresh.
And then he reinvented himself and moved into Highlife. Look at the celebration album he did. From there, after Limpopo went down, the guy has gone back to Highlife. Look at the way he's doing his Highlife. Listen to his last single with Concubana Chief Priest. Fantastic. Look at the quality of money they spend on video. These are the things that our fathers could not do. See, our fathers could not spend money on video. All they did is that maybe they will go for a tour in Germany and they will take the video of that tour and then release it as a video. That was what most of them did because that was the level of information they had. If you want to do that, if you want to measure Highlife to the level of global relevance now, you have to play the game in that league.
Yeah.
You don't go to a big man's house and looking tattered. If you want to collect something from big man, you dress like a big man, even if you don't get money for pockets.
All right. So, okay, now looking forward now, I want to bring some names to see where they're sitting. In my opinion, I feel they are playing Highlife music. The first person, let me start with Duncan Mighty, for instance. I feel they are playing Highlife music. Where does he stand in this game now? How far can he go? Because anytime I listen to his song with Wizkid, all I hear is the Port Harcourt vibes, the Rex Lawson vibe in my head. So I don't know if you agree with me in that aspect. Hello, Jesus, I lost yet. Okay, my guess is a bit lost. So I'm just talking about certain names I feel should progress, should contribute more, or we should look at their music and see how much we can co-opt them into the Highlife movement, into making sure that we make progress with Highlife. For instance, I've mentioned Duncan Mighty. The other day I was listening to, I sat back to listen to this guy, Tekno. I was like, wow, this guy was playing Highlife music. I've never taken time to listen to Tekno, but I sat down to listen to a lot of his songs. I now realize that this guy has been doing Highlife, and unfortunately, is not much in the game at the moment. Then Kizz Daniel, I listened to Kizz Daniel, and I discovered that he is doing Highlife music. In my own opinion, I don't know if anybody feels the same way or has the same thinking. I might be wrong. Then I discovered in Benin there are people like AJ Slimi. That guy plays good Highlife music, Edo Highlife music. So I'm really happy for someone like AJ Slimi. He tours Europe with his own brand of music, and he sings in Edo language and is being accepted. But in Nigeria, it seems not much is known about him, like maybe in the media around Nigeria. So I don't know. I don't know if you got my. I was mentioning some names. I mentioned Duncan Mighty.
From Duncan Mighty, from Duncan Mighty to Tekno to
Kizz Daniel.
Kizz Daniel. All of them have infiltration of Calypso. And once you have infiltration of Calypso in your sound, Highlife is there.
Okay.
Check the snare, check the kick, check the snare, the drum snare. Just check the drum pattern. Check the bass line of their lines of their music. Those are Highlife progression. Hip hop don't have those progression.
Yes.
Hip hop is boom boom boom, just one way. But Highlife is rhythmical. You're gonna move you. You're gonna move you. You're gonna move. It's rhythmical. That's Highlife. That's Calypso. You make you to dance. From Buga to Obianuju to all the songs Duncan Mighty did. But the problem is that they will not come and tell you that they are Highlife musicians.
I
You
think they need.
understand? So majority of them are running away from that name, Highlife, because they will say Highlife. Ah, that old school, oh, that old school, oh. Are you getting it? Old school, oh. Ah, that's why I said an average Benin singer that is touring Europe.
Yeah, out again, out again. So,
Are you?
oh yeah, yeah. That's AJ Slimy is one guy I'm really particular about. He's a Benin guy.
Yes, he will tell you that he's touring Europe with Highlife.
High life. Then this Osayomon Joseph, the son. I've forgotten his name. The son is that's one person that has taken up his father's legacy. His son
Look
is
at this
equally
guy. Look at this guy. If I'm correct, look at this guy that did a song from this man from Benin, Charlie Poppy.
okay. Shall you see?
Can you see? That's an old Highlife singer.
Yeah.
He brought him back. So, see, the problem is just, I think it's nomenclature.
No, but they should identify because I'm looking at this Nigerian.
That labeling, Baba, that labeling is where the problem is. Most of them feel that if you label me Highlife singer, I will be cut off. And again, don't forget, most of them are looking at hip hop award, Grammy award, the categories there.
No, the categories. I don't think it's okay. Let's say hip hop. You see that you brought something else. Nigerian Music Awards that is now moribund or dead. Let me just use or not available again. I believe apart from hip hop Hades Award, whoever that used to do Nigerian Music Award, please they should bring it back to be able to bring these cultures on stage again.
Music Award, that is
Piman.
Kali.
No,
Piman.
Yes, Piman.
That was early 90s now. That was early 90s.
So where is it?
No. But no go there. We will not go there. I beg. I don't want to talk Piman matter today. I beg.
No,
because it was that award that we got to know people like Christian Esse, all the Oriswilikis, everybody.
That is the kind of award that can celebrate all our indigenous culture. So where is it?
I can boldly tell you that what killed that was politics. I wasn't there, but in hindsight, I can boldly tell you what killed that movement could have been politics among our fathers and our elders. Because I have sat in some places of power and position and now understand what really could have transpired. Look at Piman, look at Nigerian Music Award, look at even there's another one again. There's another Fame Award, Fame Music. Oh.
Fame is one of the for me. I'm sorry, I know Femi Akintunde Johnson. I used to maybe once in a while get on his page on Facebook, but they are the biggest letdown for me in Nigerian because they were by now they are supposed to be like I don't know the magazine I can call. Maybe they should be a Rolling Stone magazine, for instance. Yes. There should be a Rolling Stone.
You know how long Rolling Stone has been.
Yeah, but we are
even Billboard.
But they would have been up to close to 30 years now in the business, or more than 30 years.
You mean Rolling Stone?
I mean Fame magazine, assuming they're still on. Yes. We are supposed to be going back to reference them.
They still have opportunity to come back. See, it goes back to the same thing I told you. It goes back to the same thing. Structure, environment. See, all of these things. See, let me tell you, you don't believe me that also Survivor plays a key role. Cost of production and cost of all those things play. I say, I own magazines. I'm into media. I own magazines. I know the cost. Imagine doing those things and then still doing the sponsoring by yourself with your own hard-earned economy. Nothing is coming in unexpected. Do you expect the person to continue?
To keep on going. Well.
So
okay.
we are looking at the West, most of them are being funded by government. Look at Grammy. Grammy is funded by government now. NPR is funded by government. Rolling Stone have government share on them. Even Grammy Museum have government funding behind them. How many of these guys, even our P-Man, how many times government has said that we're dedicating SYT for entertainment industry and it gets to P-Man, and it gets to P-Man and get to members of P-Man? Is it cost of
Okay, we spent like an hour, so I think we'll be winding down now. So the younger generation artists, for me, is just maybe you have a word for them. They should think of incorporating some of these so that our culture will not die. Our culture will not disappear. Let me use the word disappear. I don't know what words you have for them.
Want me to say thing I want to say, it is very controversial. Very, very controversial. What I want to say is this. If you want to do music in this generation, you need money. You need money. And the money you are looking for as an upcoming artist or a training artist is you cannot get it in the industry when you are just new. Go and get the money elsewhere and come and invest in your musical career. Yes. Because say that if you want to push Highlife to the level where we are talking now, it requires money. Do you have the next 10 million naira, maybe 3 million for production, 7 million for musical, 5 million for musical production, musical video, and then another 5 million for promotion? Where would the person get the money? And you're not sure that the money is coming back to you.
I think the money is even small. You are calling.
I'm just being very fair. So if you really want to do, yes, start as passion, but please get business by the side so you don't go die on the way before you get your business. All these people, P Square, KC, Limpopo, Flavour, Phyno, all of them, before they get to where they are now, they have to go find money elsewhere. So I want to come and I give you, for my year, I've been in the industry for more than 30 years. Yes, 1996 professional singer. Calculate the years till now. I want to come and begin to tell you XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Bro, sis, if you want to do that, if you want to really make it, go and look for money. And you have to go and you have to get money by the side. Not just a sponsor that will give you money and demand your leg and hand and ear. You have to get money because music is business. It's not just an act, it's not just a passion, it's business. You have to get money. Then when you have get money, you now have identified your identity. Stay true to your identity. There'll be challenges, there'll be roadblocks. Stay true with your identity. If you want to do Highlife, please do your Highlife and incorporate it with what is happening around you. You can't be doing Highlife like the man that is doing Highlife in the village 1940 and expect people in 2005 or 2006 beyond be appreciating your sound. No, get good sound, get good producer. Now still goes back to the money thing. Get good producer. Pay your bandmen, your section men well. Write good song. You mustn't be the one writing the song. Get somebody who has a good songwriting skill. Pay him or her, write song for you. If you're a good performer, work on your stage craft, work on your performance craft. Guess what? Somehow, sun will shine on you. And then, among all, work on branding yourself.
Yes.
Branding. I wish I can talk about branding in this life, but branding is another class altogether. How to brand yourself as an artist and how to come out posture so that you remain daring and attractive to people in the crowd. Those are master classes. So I wouldn't come and be telling you, Baba, music alone as a skill will not keep you. It's a craft, it's a skill, it's a business. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the time. Thank you for spending this hour with me, Jason. Thank you, Rich P. Rich P has dropped so much comments on this live. Thank you so much. I know other people will get to watch this later. It's just the start. When we have good topics, we'll come back and discuss it. We just have to talk, because if we don't talk, we cannot make headway. Maybe somebody will pick an idea from what we are doing. So meanwhile, if you are watching this, the channel is Music in My Ears, the Nigerian Music History Stories channel. Kindly subscribe to the channel. That is the only encouragement you can give us to keep on pushing. It's not easy. It's not easy. We are not earning money from this. You put in so much. One tiny video of 10 minutes takes me like 2, 3 days because I have other things to do. So thank you, Jason. We'll be back again with the next topic. We sign out. Thank you.